So what is Parliament? What do they do, how do they create laws, and how is a government chosen? Well, over the next few minutes, I'll be explaining all of that. But before I explain that in detail, I should explain the two main political parties, Conservative and Labour. The Conservatives are a centre-right party and they're our current government. They advocate for free market policies, limited government intervention and traditional conservative values. Labour, on the other hand, is a centre-left party and they're in the lead in our current general election. They represent the interest of the working class and they advocate for social justice, workers' rights and a strong welfare state. So who runs Parliament? Well, there's three parts. There's the House of Commons, the House of Lords and the Monarch. In the House of Commons there's 650 MPs, or Members of Parliament, and they each represent a different constituency, which is basically a specific area in the UK. Every 5 years, when the general elections come about, all the citizens in each constituency can vote for an MP to represent them. And that MP comes with a political party that they support and they're fighting for. The government sits on one side of the House with the Prime Minister and a row of cabinet ministers who each manage a certain department in the government. Currently this is the Conservative Party. And then on the opposite side is the opposition. And they're there to challenge the government's decisions and laws. They're basically trying to get the MPs on their side so that they can win the general election. So at the moment this is the Labour Party. And finally there's the Speaker, who keeps the House in order by overseeing and chairing these debates. Order! In the House of Lords, Lords are selected by the Queen or Prime Minister for their knowledge and experiences. Once laws are submitted by the House of Commons, the Lords read through them and use their expertise to go over them in detail. They make sure that the laws are effective and fit for purpose, and then make any changes that they want. And finally, the monarch meets up with the Prime Minister once a week to learn what's going on in Parliament and formally agree on any new laws. So how are laws created? Well, the lawmaking process usually begins with a bill, which is a proposal for a new law or a change to an existing one. It's formally read in the House of Commons without a debate, and that's called the first reading. And then during the second reading, MPs have a debate over it and decide if the law should continue. After that is the committee stage, where one of the committees in Parliament reads through the bill and the chairman can make any amendments. Then there's the report stage, where all the MPs can suggest amendments. And once they've all made their suggestions, they go through the third reading, which is where the bill is voted on. And not much debating is usually done during this stage. This process is then repeated in the House of Lords in the same format, but they use their knowledge and expertise to make sure the laws are effective. Then once they've made their amendments, it's sent back to the House of Commons, where they repeat the same steps as before. And it's pretty much sent back and forth between the two houses until they can both agree on the wording of the bill. And if they can't come to an agreement, then the House of Commons usually has the final say. After this process, the bill is sent to the Queen for her to allow it to become a law. This is called royal assent and it's always granted. So how is the government chosen? Well, during the general election every 5 years, the political party that receives an overall majority in the House of Commons with 326 seats or more forms the new government, and their leader becomes Prime Minister. If no party is able to get 326 seats, then the party with the most votes has the choice to form a coalition government, which is where 2 or more parties work together to run a government. If this video helped you, make sure to subscribe, it helps me out a lot. Check out my next video here, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Order! Order!